Hello again, and welcome back to another video. Please ignore the tape that's on this box. A certain kitten, she's not a kitten, a certain cat has decided that pulling on these is the best way to get my attention. So, protection. Anyways, today we are going to hopefully be making a one-day project. I decided to buy this fabric because it really reminded me of strawberry lemonade, so this will be the strawberry lemonade dress. I'm a sucker for gingham and the colors are really cute, so I wanted to make something nice, light, and summery. I had a really hard time deciding on the silhouette of this dress, but I finally found this picture on Pinterest, which is of a few girls in pinafore kind of dresses. It's from the 60s. And I really liked this green one. I don't know, I'll probably circle it somehow. That is the silhouette that I decided to go for. It's a little shorter than I would usually opt for. I like long skirts that don't show my knees. I like long skirts usually, so I thought it would be a good addition to my wardrobe and kind of change it up. And also it would look cute belted or unbelted. You know, lots of options. If you like this video and would like to see more content like this, please give it a like and subscribe down below. And let me know what your go-to summer outfit is. I'm a big sucker for sundresses. Alright, let's get started. Alright, so I started off by tracing out the upper part of the dress. I just roughly measured where I wanted it to sit and used my water-soluble marker to block out that shape and then cut around it, leaving enough room for seam allowance. For the back, I used the front as a pattern and then just added a little bit to the straps to make sure I had enough to go all the way over my shoulders. Then I just cut down the fabric to the length I wanted for the skirt, using the pattern, the gingham pattern, as a guide to make sure I cut a super straight line. For the pockets, I just traced out a rough shape and cut those out. And then I added interfacing to the pocket pieces and the top pieces because I cut those on the bias so that they would have the diagonal pattern. They weren't as stable as the pieces that were on the straight grain, so I just used some really thin interfacing to reinforce them and keep them from shifting over time. And then I could attach the sides of the top together, just using Old Faithful regular straight stitch. And after that was done, the seams were ironed open. And then the lining and outer pieces were pinned together along the edge so that I can sew those all the way together. And since I'm not attaching the straps to each other normally with a seam, I'm sewing around those as well. After turning it right side out, and with some assistance from Eurydice, I ironed it so that the lining would sit nicely behind the front fabric. And then we can move on to the skirt. I did the hem first so that it would be easier to access, and again I just used the lines of the gingham to fold the bottom edge up once, and then up again so that the raw edges were concealed. After the hem was done, I moved on to closing up the back seam of the skirt so that it was a big loop like the bodices. And I'm using a French seam for this, so I'm starting with the wrong sides together and then flipping it so that the right sides are together and the raw edges are encased inside of a little pocket. And I'm stitching along the line of the gingham instead of using a specific seam allowance so that the pattern kind of matches and it looks very clean. And then it was time for a kitty break. Now the skirt can be attached to the top. So I'm doing this by just pinning around in a circle, and as I am pinning to make sure that the wider skirt fits the skinnier top, I am doing some really rough box pleats. And then stitching those down. The lining is then folded over and pinned down to cover the raw edges of the skirt. And the whole bodice will get top stitched. This will hold down the lining that we just turned over, as well as making the details consistent with the patch pockets. And for the straps, I'm adding some buttonholes with my buttonhole setting that I'll be threading ribbon through to attach the straps together. Then for the pockets, I'm stitching them together around the edges, leaving a hole in that top side so that they can be turned out later. And then after clipping the edges of the curves, I did turn them right side out. And ironed them so they look nice and neat. The top edge of those pockets then gets top stitched. And then finally they're stitched on around the edges. I'm sorry in advance for the lack of full body footage, but it is done. We did it! I actually don't know if we did it. I'm filming this at the same time I film my intro. Yeah, I hope we did it, because I'm leaving on a flight tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed watching my process making this dress. I hope I'm really happy with it. I don't know yet, but we'll find out. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe down below. And yeah, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Okay, bye! Kitten, kitten, kitten does not like to be held, but will say hi for me. Good girl.